Welcome and thank you for joining us on this episode of Tone Setters TV, where we invite people to own your tone. With your host, Christopher Not Chris of Tone Setters Entertainment. On this episode of Tone Setters TV, we talk to Mr. Perry McHeard, who tells us about his experience in the U.S. military and leveraging that experience into his own business. What's going on, everybody? Another episode of Tone Setters TV with your boy, Christopher Not Chris, Tone Setters Entertainment, here with another guest for you guys today, another entrepreneur, Mr. Perry McHeard of ITY Solutions. What's going on, Perry?
What's going on, CJ?
Hey, I appreciate you hopping on the show today. We're just going to talk a little bit about your business, ITY Solutions. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and just get some of your, your understanding and your knowledge that you gained in your time. So first of all, tell us a little bit ITY Solutions, man. What is it that you guys do?
Well, brother, first we started off as a smart home company. We do smart home designs. One of our biggest things is being innovative in the IT field. So we came up with a way that we saw that no one was doing anything about. The only time you wanted to get a smart device, you just go to like Best Buy or Walmart or something and try to install it yourself, but it really wouldn't work. So me and Talman got together and we decided to say, hey, let's do this. And then we really realized that we both have talents outside of that. So Talman is a great sound engineer. So I was like, hey, I'm a great infrastructure engineer. Let's put these things together and let's go ahead and make a move into the IT field in a big way. So we started going into churches and doing commercial venues and things like that outside of the home. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
That's what's up. So, you got the residential covered, and as you start building that up, you start taking on commercial opportunities. That's a testament to how, putting your work and your skill sets to the table will go ahead and level you up over some time. So that's what's up.
Yeah. And one of the things was like, I have built a network out here to where I didn't have to take the steps that some people had to take, because sometimes we end up taking little small steps to get to those big steps. But because of the network that I have, I was able to make a big step. So we went from doing something very small. When we started, our first commercial that you shot was, we want to give back to the community. First and foremost, we understood COVID was happening. Kids need help, whatever the case may be, IT-wise. We wanted to do it. So that's how ITY Solutions came into play with that name. So we decided like, hey, just start small, but we got to work in the community just to get things going, So yeah, that's about that.
That's what's up. So, you talk about how you started off wanting to do something like to give back to the community, and the network that you had was able to kind of help you grow faster, scale a little bit faster than a lot of normal businesses have the opportunity to. But what made you jump into not necessarily this field, but maybe just entrepreneurship in general?
Well, I had a life-changing incident that happened to me back in 2015. And I ended up catching a CPS case, and I ended up having to go through probation, deferred adjudication probation. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, I end up, my face is on the news. They're looking for me. I'm supposed to be, I guess, with them, but I'm not. But I ended up seeing my face on the news as a fugitive. And I lost everything, bro. When I went through that case, I went from making 6 figures down to making barely 5. And it hurt so bad. But I really realized something at that moment. I have to get something that they can't take from me. I have to be able to solidify that. No matter what happens to me in my life, they can't take it from me. So I said, you know what? It's time to start a company and do something that I know what I'm doing. I've worked all over the world. I have great connections. I have the experience, more experience than I have education. But we understand this now. Education, experience outweighs education. And it just does. And if you got the time, you got the time. And between me and Talman, we have over 35 years of service, of experience in our fields. And that's crazy. That just between me and him. So imagine if we can get everyone on the same page, and we can have thousands of years worth of experience between us. So that's what we're trying to push it to. You know, we understand that we can't do this by ourselves. You know, so here at ITY Solutions, we believe in together we can do anything, and that's our model, and we stand by it.
That's what's up, man. So I appreciate that you shared your story, because sometimes it does take those life-changing events to make you make a move that you may not have normally made, or you may not have thought you were ready to make, or whatever the case may be. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. So, I mean, with all the experience that you guys have, 35 years of experience between the two of you, that's, some people are just getting to 35, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't even made it to 35 yet, y'all. So that's a lot of experience.
Right.
What would you say, bringing all that experience to the table, starting your business, operating your business, what's like your biggest challenge? And not necessarily with the skill set, because obviously you guys have that experience. And I know there's challenges that probably appear within the skill set, but just within running a business or starting your business, the entrepreneurship aspect.
Well, I would honestly say it is something within myself. Okay, a lot of our obstacles, we create our own obstacles, and one of my biggest things was procrastination. You know, I started to do the company, you know, and I came to TJ. I said, you know, let's do this. But when it happened, COVID hit, you know. And at that time, it was kind of like, oh, you know, we got time, you know, let's put it off on this and you know, and get things going. But then we started to actually make moves. But I had to pray to myself, first of all, for myself to be actionable in these things, because procrastination was a big, horrible core value that I had. That's something that came within me from even to my childhood, you know, being a procrastinator. So I had to be able to move that out of the way. I did kind of lose sight after a while, you know what I'm saying? After I got off the probation, and I got the felony dismissed and everything like that with prejudice, full non-disclosure, I kind of did lose a little bit of sight, you know. I really did. I wanted to party, I wanted to go out and have a good time. I really ain't messing with nobody out here in San Antonio. I've been traveling the world for so long, I didn't have friends out here, you know. But I just wanted to go out and start getting with people, and then I realized, I said, hey, Perry, you can't be the same person that you were before. If you're gonna have people around you, they need to be the correct people. So I started watching the people that were around me, and you know, I ended up meeting you, and so many other people around the city, and those people introduced me to other people that got me to other places, you know, and making those steps like that got me to where we one day doing a house, and then the next day we're doing a commercial building, and then the next day we're doing a 10,000 square foot building, you know, all in a matter of time. And that's all because of, number one, perseverance, but also it was on me for my procrastination. So I'd say that was one of the biggest obstacles, was me, myself, procrastinating.
Man, I appreciate you putting it out like that, man, because that's real. That's like the real of being an entrepreneur, of wanting to start your own business. Even if it's something small, the key is you got to start.
Right.
And a lot of times we have ideas, we have dreams, we have aspirations, but we leave them in that state for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because of maybe fear within ourselves, maybe just like you said, a bad core value that you developed over time. Whatever the case may be, it takes us a long time sometimes to turn that idea into something
action.
That's creating revenue, right, or action, like you said. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. And that's even I recognize that in myself sometimes, you know, the procrastination, you know, and just thinking you can get it done at the last minute, but you know, in reality that don't work.
Time don't wait for nobody.
Exactly. So
then that's a really good segue into having faith and praying. You know what I'm saying? When you have faith and you pray, you know, we're taught that you can have faith the size of a mustard seed and you can move a mountain. But we're looking at it as though it was abstract. You tell your mind to move a mountain. No, that's not it. You know what I'm saying? You have to literally be actionable in this. So, you know, faith is what we now know to be self-manifestation. You know, we can't have faith. Faith without work is dead. So that means that you have to be actionable in what you want. So if I'm procrastinating, if I'm being lazy, if I'm just not caring, you know, then those actions is what I'm going to produce. So if my actions are positive, you know, to knowing that, number one, the best way to make it is to not think that you're alone in it. And it's really to be selfless and to bring other people along with you so they can help you. So that's one of the things that really got my mind going, was having a self-manifestation to me, to say, hey, I need to do these things and stop putting it out onto other things and other people.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta take the accountability.
At the end of the day,
that's the key right there, especially because at the end of the day, it's yours. So, and it's another thing that you said, that it's not his quote, but Antonio Wicks, shout out to Antonio C. Wicks.
Antonio.
He always says, man, and I know it's not his quote, but it's something I hear him saying.
Mm-hmm. You can quote.
Do you want 100% of one person's effort, or 1% of 100 people's effort?
Come on, I'll take the 100.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something that he's always implanted in my mind. So when you said something about, you know, having that understanding, taking accountability for your businesses, of course, and taking those actionable steps, but still understanding that you can't do it alone.
You can't do it alone.
So those are all big factors. Man, you drop some knowledge on the procrastination, and I appreciate you being vulnerable like that, because all the stuff you just said was really on point, man. So I appreciate that. What do you think so far for IT-wise solutions has been like an accomplishment for you? And when I say accomplishment, I don't mean like, oh, the job that got you paid the most.
Right.
Because I understand those are accomplishments, and I think everybody gets that. And I don't want you to like have to disclose who paying you more than who.
Right.
I don't need to mess up your bidding war.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what was an accomplishment for you, as far as like, you know, you felt that moment was like, hey, we did this?
Every single time I met a client. At that time, it just wasn't a transaction between me and the client. It was a transaction between the client and me as well. We didn't just allow it to be, hey, you know, this is a service that you're providing for me, that's it, move on. We actually help each other out. Every single one of my clients. So we create that network that's needed. So somebody needs something, somewhere down the line, even with my clients, we can help. So that's been one of the best things for me as a whole.
So just the relationship building.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's important in any business, especially when you're selling a service or a product. You know, building that relationship allows people to kind of understand that, hey, at the end of the day, it's not just transactional with us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even if it is transactional, at least I know that, hey, you know what, on this in particular time, because of the relationship we built, I might not need to, you know, when he comes to me, I might not need to charge him full price right now. I can charge him cost right now, because hey, we've already built this relationship where we can do that with each other.
Or it can become something more so of a bartering system.
Or a bartering system.
You know what I'm saying? That's something that we in our community have to get back to, for real, to understand that it's not always about the money. You know what I'm saying? It's about what we can do for each other. So if you see somebody else needs some help with something, even though they might not have the money, they can help you and you can help them by the services you provide. So, you know, that's just something that that we have definitely lost over time, due to societal issues, of course. But, you know, that bartering system, you know.
Yeah, I'm all about bartering, especially, you know what I'm saying, we just evaluate each other and what we can bring to the table, and as long as everybody's trying to make it fair.
Right, we all gonna make it together, you know what I'm saying?
Then it ain't hurting nobody.
Right.
If I'm getting what I need, you getting what you need. So I respect that. I'm always down to barter when necessary, when warranted.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And then there's that.
Yeah, and every situation ain't the best situation, but you know, when it's warranted, when the relationship is there, and you know you can build with someone, then it's always something that, you know, I personally have been willing to do. And you're right. I think we got to get back to that on a bigger basis, to where we can kind of build together.
Right, and build that community.
Exactly, and it's got to be the right stuff too. It's got to be stuff that makes sense.
It really does.
You know what I mean? I ain't saying that you just got to barter away your stuff and stuff you don't need, and it ain't mutually beneficial. It's got to be mutually beneficial.
It does, and it has to. And I would honestly say, if I need to barter my services, I would prefer that it is going towards the community. So I'm helping somebody in the community. You know, whether it's like, hey, Perry, man, I'm putting together this little carnival downtown. You know, we want to put a booth up over there. You know, and I'm like, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? I could teach some kids how to program a couple of switches. You know what I'm saying? Use Alexa, turn on some lights, yada yada yada. I'm just gonna do it for free. Just bring stuff down there and just set it up, and just have the kids come through. That's my time. It's important. You know what I'm saying? It's worth money, but it's more worth the money for me to be able to pass it along to the generations that's coming after us. You know what I'm saying? Because we all trying to create that generational wealth at the end of the day. And again, it takes everybody.
Yes, sir. So let me ask you, ITY Solutions, in 2 words. What if you could describe your company in 2 words? What would you call it?
Dependable and servant.
Dependable and servant. I mean, that's strong.
Yeah, bro.
That's strong right there.
Stand on that.
That's strong right there. Hey, Perry, I really appreciate you coming and joining us today.
Thank you for
on
having me.
Tonesetter TV. I mean, dependable and servant shown through all the experiences that you've had and that you shared with us today. So I really appreciate that. I'm going to end our time today with something I try to always end our time on Tonesetter TV. If you could share with me 1 book. It doesn't have to be a recent read. It could have been a previous, something you read a while ago, or something you read recently. I just want 1 book that kind of describes, or not necessarily describes, but has inspired you, has, you know, lifted you up in any kind of way, and that may lift up some of our viewers.
Yes. This book here, Strategic Planning for Black Folk.
Okay.
Written by Dr. Dorian Williams. This book here he teaches you how to play chess, but how to play chess in life, and how to use same thing that I teach, like core values, in order to make it through life, and how to use the people around you, how to network properly, you know, in life. This book right here, I tell you, it really, everything that I said, everything that we just went through, that's this book. I just met Mr. Dorian Williams a couple of weeks ago, you know, and when we met each other, we said, hey, bro, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. So I read this book, man, and it really transformed me, you know, and we're able to help each other out in understanding, because, you know, even though I'm 30 years old, you know, a lot of people look at me like, bro, you 30? Yeah, I'm 30 years old, you know, but again, a person like him could sit down and say, hey, Perry, I'm learning something from you. And I can sit down and say, bro, I'm learning something from you. It's not about who's at what level in society. It's about what we can do for one another to bring each other up, all the way out the trenches. So I would like to give you this book, and you can share it with somebody as well, and maybe you can read it and get something from it.
Oh yeah, you know we always take free books at Tonesetter Entertainment, so I would definitely give this book a read. I appreciate it. I always appreciate someone sharing some game with me, so I'll definitely give this book a read, and I'll definitely do what you said, share it with the next man. What I will say again is thank you to Mr. Perry McHeard, ITY Solutions. If you could go ahead and give them your social media handles, so that way they can follow you.
All right, Facebook, it is I.T.Y Solutions, and on Instagram it is the same exact thing. That's where you can find us at, and yeah, that's pretty much.
All right, Facebook and Instagram, we are I.T.Y Solutions. I'll drop those on the bottom for y'all, so y'all can go check them out for all of your smart home integration and all that type of stuff. We may even have a commercial on here, one of the little commercials that I made for them on here too, just to break up the monotony. But again, all my friends and viewers of Tonesetter TV, we appreciate y'all for being Tonesetters in your communities, and we appreciate y'all for joining us today.
Indeed.
Until next time, it's on Set of TV. Y'all be safe.
Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.